Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use, tips a balance in favor of fair use. Okay, this is from Indiana Department of Labor. Okay, my aim was to talk about the Department of Labor standards, statutes, and laws regarding minors working. But for some reason, I landed in Indiana Department of Labor. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to touch on the main Department of Labor site. Okay, this one I looked up regarding construction work because it is common knowledge that a lot of children in Scientology are working in construction as well as manufacturing. Why do you guys think they don't want cameras in their buildings or on their sites? Occupations involved in the manufacture of brick, tile, and kindred products. All work in or about establishments in which clay construction products are manufactured is considered hazardous for 16 and 17-year-olds, except work in storage and shipping, work in offices, laboratories, and storerooms, work in the drying departments of plants manufacturing sewer pipe. With the exception of office work, 16 and 17-year-olds may not work in or about establishments where silica brick or other silica refractories are manufactured. I'm going to read a little of this. Occupations involving the operation of circular saws, band saws, guillotine shears, chainsaws, reciprocating saws, wood chippers, and abrasive cutting discs. Operating or helping to operate fixed or portable power-driven circular saws, band saws, and guillotine shears is prohibited for 16 and 17-year-olds unless the machine is equipped with fully automatic feed and ejection. 16 and 17-year-olds may not operate or help to operate fixed or portable power-driven chainsaws, reciprocating saws, wood chippers, or abrasive cutting discs. Setting up, adjusting, repairing, oiling, or cleaning circular saws, band saws, guillotine shears, chainsaws, reciprocating saws, wood chippers, or abrasive cutting discs are also forbidden for 16 and 17-year-olds. Exemptions. 16 or 17-year-olds working as apprentices or student learners. Here's the loophole. And defined under the Fair Labor Standards Act, which we're going to look at, may be exempt from the restrictions related to the operation of circular saws, band saws, guillotine shears, chainsaws, reciprocating saws, wood chippers, and abrasive cutting discs. Let's see, what is this ship breaking about? Oh, and there are pictures of young child Scientologists working on roofs. So they're covering minors may not work on the roof of any building for any reason. This is Indiana. They also may not perform work on the ground related to roofing operations such as roofing laborer, roofing helper, materials handler, and tending a tar heater. Okay. Okay, this one I find interesting because I know Mike Brown had talked about that he had to do these kinds of jobs. And he was like, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that. Occupations in excavation operations. You guys, you notice that they're only talking about 16 and 17-year-old children? That means anyone under that age is not supposed to, by law, be doing any of these things. Crazy, huh? 16 and 17-year-olds may not excavate work in or refill trenches, like the ones Mike Brown had talked about, unless they are manually excavating or manually backfilling trenches that do not exceed 4 feet in depth at any point, or working in trenches that do. There have been several Scientologist children that talked about doing this kind of work, otherwise known as a witness statement, affidavit. At any point, or working in trenches that do not exceed 4 feet in depth at any point. They may not excavate for buildings, or other structures, or work in such excavations, unless they are manually excavating to a depth not exceeding 4 feet below any ground. Surface adjoining the excavation working in an excavation not exceeding such depth, or working in an excavation where the sidewalls, like the tunnel underneath Blue Building, are shored or sloped to the angle of repose. No 16 or 17-year-old may work in a tunnel or shaft prior to the completion of all driving, sinking, and shoring operations. They're not talking about 15-year-olds, they're not talking about 14-year-olds, they're not talking about 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds. You know why they're not? Because that's 100% illegal. And just like the other one, exemption 16 and 17-year-olds working as apprentices or student learners in accordance with the requirements of the Fair Labor Standards Act may be exempt from the restrictions on excavating operations. Okay, guys. This is all in real time. So this is a current site on the U.S. Department of Labor. Workers under 18. It's very generalized. The U.S. Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division administers and enforces, do they now, the federal child labor laws. Generally speaking, the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, sets the minimum age for employment, listen to this, 14 years for non-agricultural jobs. And now we keep hearing over and over that Scientologists want to label the children as volunteers. What about when they're trying to hide behind all this religion and calling the children volunteers, but yet they're making them do these laborious acts, this manual labor that is outlawed for children to do? 14 years for non-agriculture jobs, restricts the hours youth under the age of 16 may work, and prohibits youth under the age of 18 from being employed in hazardous occupations. I guess except if you're a Scientologist child, right? In addition, the FLSA establishes sub-minimum wage standards. Scientology is going to use that volunteer stuff, you know what I mean? Just like the Jehovah's Witnesses do. In addition, the FLSA establishes sub-minimum wage standards for certain employees who are less than 20 years of age. Full-time students, Scientologists are not allowed to go to school. Student learners, I don't know, what does that mean? Apprentices and workers with disabilities. Employers generally must have authorization. What about religions that are doing this with the children? Generally must have authorization from WHD in order to pay sub-minimum wage rates. It's $47. What is it? Is that $47 a week they get? It's $47 a month, isn't it? I forget. $47 a week. I just want to know, does that count? Does that count as a wage? When you're having the 6-year-olds do bricklaying? Just want to know. The FLSA child labor provisions are designed to protect the educational opportunities, the ones that Scientologist children don't get. Educational opportunities of youth and prohibit their employment in jobs that are detrimental to their health and safety. Really? The department's Youth Rules Initiative helps promote positive and safe work experiences for young workers. I'm going to click on it and see what this is. Let's see, they got parents. So in Scientology, parents, a lot of times they give their children over to guardians. And they separate themselves from their children. Educators, does this count in the Scientology schools? Are the Scientology schools required to follow the laws of labor in their schools? All states also have standards concerning youth employment. When federal and state standards are different, the rules that provide the most protection to young workers will apply. Note that federal employment laws on safety and health, discrimination, benefits, etc. apply to youth as well as to older workers. So here's a picture of a Scientology child doing some type of construction work. Department of Labor, is that legal? Because they call him a religious volunteer. He looks about maybe, I'm guessing 4 feet, maybe 85 pounds. He's got yellow gloves on, should probably have safety glasses on. I'm guessing he's maybe 6 or 7 years old. Is that legal? I just wish somebody would clear it up for me because I'm a little confused. And then right next to him is I don't know, maybe another child working. We don't have a face. And then here's another picture to the left there. I'm pretty sure this was in not Fort Harrison, but I'm pretty sure this was in Clearwater, Florida. You've got, I don't know if they're on the RPF. Their clothing looks dark blue, maybe. That seems to be a theme, dark blue. Unless it's black and I can't tell. But if it's black, that means they're both on the RPF in some way, which is when they usually use their prison labor. But to the left, you'll see, you guys, that is what we call a minor in the United States of America. Hard to believe, right? I'm guessing he's maybe 12 or 13, maybe. Let's see, I'd guess he's maybe 5'10", possibly. He's got gloves on. I guess that helps a whole lot. And then the guy to the right is obviously an adult. He's on punishment too. And the kid on the left has a shovel. Department of Labor, is that legal? I just want to know, like, is that legal to make children that age work for 18 hours, digging holes and doing construction work, and getting paid as a volunteer in a religion, $47 a week? Just want to know.